Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this episode I'm gonna talk about the breastfeeding. Actually, I'm gonna give some of the answers about the most common questions that the mothers have during or before the breastfeeding process. These answers are according to my experience, and I'm very happy to share some of the experience that I have with my son, and I hope you find it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe my channel so you can get new notification about the new videos that I'm gonna prepare, and also you give a great motivation for us to make more videos about motherhood, or also about our daily activity as a family. One of the most common questions that the women has is about when does the first milk come. According to the studies, the first milk come from 2 to 5 days after you deliver. This is because different women, they have a different experience after they deliver their baby. I actually got the first milk after 2 days. The thing that I'm gonna share is that I think every woman will experience that, is that when they're gonna see the first milk coming out, you're gonna see that it's gonna look a little dark or not, and for the first time you might think that's not a good milk to drink, but actually the first milk is full of nutrition and full of antibodies, and that's gonna provide a good health to your child. So it's very good to feed your baby with the first milk, and also to make it easy, the process, and to stimulate your body to produce milk, the first milk sooner, is recommended to do skin to skin breastfeeding with your child. You can hold your child naked, both of you. Don't be worried that the child will get cold, because he's gonna be fine. There are lots of studies that they say that when the baby and the child, then the mother and the baby are close skin to skin each other, it helps the hormones of the women to produce the milk. So it's gonna help the mothers to produce sooner the first milk, and to start the process of breastfeeding for the baby. The other questions that most of the women has during the time that they are breastfeeding is how often should they breastfeed their baby. Actually, different babies, because depending on the age of the baby, they're gonna ask in a different amount of milk. Especially in newborns and a just born baby, they usually ask for breastfeeding every 2 or 3 hours. And there are recommendations. There are babies that they wake up by themselves and they ask for milk, but there are babies that you might need to wake them up and to give milk. It's not very recommended to allow the baby to stay longer than 3 hours without drinking because of the dehydration. You might need to wake them up and to give milk. And also for every breast, you can leave your child from 10 to 15 minutes, and but you just make sure that you're gonna breastfeed your baby from both of the breasts, which is very important. And also you burp your child after every time that you breastfeed your baby, so they're gonna sleep easy and they're not gonna have gas in their stomach. The most common concern that the women has and the mothers has during the time that they are breastfeeding their baby is about knowing if their baby is taking enough milk. If to know and to understand if your baby is taking enough milk is when you do checkups to the doctor and you check the weight of the baby. So in this way you can understand that he's gaining weight and he's doing good with his with the process of feeding. Also, during the day you can check the baby with dirty diapers or wet diapers. They usually have 2 dirty diapers a day and 6 wet diapers per day. So if you can see any difference or something that is wrong, then you might check with the doctors, or you might check even your feeding schedule to understand if your baby is getting enough milk during the time that you are feeding them. Another common question is about if the mothers can mix breastfeeding and formula at the same time to the baby. Different women, they have different situations, so they might not, they cannot only breastfeed the baby, so they think to mix together, and they are worried if this thing can cause any problem to the baby. Actually, it is a practice that lots of women follow, mostly those that they have health conditions, or most of the women that they are not able to produce enough milk, or they are women that they go at work. The thing that I can say during this time that you are feeding the baby, I can recommend that the breastfeeding and the breast milk come first, and then you use the formula as a supplement, because the formula, even though they are produced for babies and they have all the nutrition, they still don't have the same value for the baby house as the mother's milk house. So I think the best way is that you breastfeed the baby first, and then you use formula as additional milk. The most common questions that the women has is what to do in the case that the baby has a poor latch or they have a difficulties to breastfeed their baby. Actually, most of the cases that the mothers they have this problem is because some of them they have problems to position the baby. In my case, I had so much struggle with positioning the baby, and since I was not offering a comfortable way of drinking, the baby got very frustrated, and he was having struggle to breastfeed, to drink the milk during the time I was breastfeeding the baby. I also can say that if you are facing this problem, you can ask for help to the women that they have experience with the breastfeeding, and they can help you to do correctly. Or if you have possibilities, you can ask for a lactation specialist, and they can give you training and professional help about the breastfeeding. And the last thing that I can say about the poor latch is that if you see that the baby has difficulties drinking the milk, not only from your nipple but also even from the bottles, there are some cases that the certain children they might have problems with developing the tongue or the tongue tie, which gives them a difficult time drinking. And it is very important, if you notice this problem, to talk with your doctor so they can check the tongue if there is any problem. And if there are any problems, then the baby has to enter into a surgery. It's a very easy surgery, but it's very important, because these babies that they don't that they have problems with drinking, when they grow up in life, they might have problems with talking. So they might have problems to articulate the word, they might not pronounce very good certain words. And it's very important to talk with your pediatricians if you feel like something is wrong in the way how your baby is drinking. During this time, mothers might be concerned, and they might have lots of questions about what to eat and what to drink during the time that they are breastfeeding their baby. Actually, the first thing that I can say is that it is not good to drink alcohol during the time that you are breastfeeding the baby. Alcohol might cause dehydration of the body, so it is it's not that gonna help your body to produce milk, because the body has to be very hydrated, so it gives a chance to create milk in your body. So the alcohol, it doesn't really work very good, and also it is not healthy for the baby because might cause brain damage. And the food that you might eat, I can say that certain food they might cause gas to the baby, because like beans or cabbage or broccoli, but everything depends on the baby. If you see that you are eating something and you see that the baby does not feel very comfortable, then you should stop eating. But actually there is no scientific reason or any scientific research about certain foods that they might cause gas or not to the baby. Some foods are actually even healthy because they provide lots of vitamins. So my idea is that you can eat healthy food and try to avoid fast foods or things that they don't provide nutrition to the mothers. Also, when you eat the food, you should check if they are proper for the mom, because some canned foods, since they use some kind of pesticides and some strong preservatives, they don't consider safe to give to eat from mothers during the time that they are breastfeeding their baby. The questions that the mother might have during the time that they are pumping, actually, and they are offering their milk to the babies, that how long, how they store the milk. Actually, in my experience, I never leave the milk, my milk, out of the refrigerator more than 1 hour, because I was afraid that it's gonna go bad and it's gonna cause problems to the baby. But there are studies that they can keep the breast milk out of the refrigerator from 2 to 4 hours. Depend on where you are, but it's the best way for me is just to check the milk before you give smell or to drink the milk before you give to the baby, so you make sure that it's not bad. Usually the babies, they refuse to drink the milk when it is changing the taste, so it's going bad or it start to go bad, because they like regular milk, and when they provide something new, they might not they might refuse it to drink. Another thing that I might share, it's not in my experience, but I have heard that there are women that they even freeze the milk till 6 months or longer. But I didn't have this experience. I most of the time keep in the refrigerator not longer than 2 days, because I was always offering and pumping and breastfeeding. But I can say that storing the milk in the refrigerator and giving through the bottle is a very nice way sometimes for you to get a relax and to allow your husband or somebody else to feed your baby during the time that you're gonna take care of yourself, or you might have even other things to do around. So this was a good idea, even to involve our people in the breastfeeding process. One of the most common questions that the women might have during the time of the breastfeeding is how long they should breastfeed their baby, and when is the proper time to stop breastfeeding. Actually, this decision is very personal. Every woman, they might have a different family situations, or they might have a different health situation that they might make them to decide to stop breastfeeding. According to the World Health Organization, it recommends that the women should breastfeed their baby at least six months of their life, and they can continue breastfeeding until they are 2 years old, and they can continue even when they are older. The breast milk of the mother, the first year of life is very important, but it doesn't change the value even after 1 year, because they still provide to the babies antibodies, and also it provides even other nutrients that they are very important for their growth. But everything depends on your personal decisions, and it might depends on your circumstances or other factors that they might affect you to make this decision.